Hello. Hello. Audio. 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 Y'all can hear me, right? Everyone can hear me. Alright. Alright. The audio was cutting out. It cut out on my last live after I spoke to a viewer that was just incredibly rude. You commented on the video, but you took away the like. That's disrespectful. Anyway, let's get into this video. Naruto stood upon the ashes. No. Naruto sat inside of his office thinking of what he could do. Thinking of what should he do. Since since he created the Shinigami, he's only gotten more members. But he thinks of one day creating a group, a village. He wants to call the village hidden in Fiona, the Japanese word for unwanted. So he decided on it. After he had destroyed the other five great nations and wiped out everything that they stood for upon the ashes of what they firmly wore, a group of people would arise. They they would be called the Shinigami. The Shinigami were a group of immortal people, as Naruto was already making using his cells to make clones of himself within tubes and clones of the others of the Shinigami. Using this, he put powerful seals on them. As long as the only way for any one of them to die is for one person within the group to die. But since the others ensure the fact that they don't die, there's really nothing that allows them to die unless you killed all of them all at once. Since because of the fact that they, that they would be highly guarded, they they would become immortal. So it was practically impossible to murder the Shinigami or even destroy the Shinigami group, a legendary group of people who rose above the ashes of what was left. Their leader, Naruto Uzumaki, standing on top. What I have to do to become great, Naruto thought, as then he activated his Rinnegan. After he had activated his Rinnegan, he walked out of his office, being accompanied by the three great sages. We introduce a lot of, and within this episode, we're gonna introduce a lot of new characters because of the fact that Naruto had been collecting um helpers over the past days. Look at all those four. Why are there our leaders? Can't some of y'all just beat them up? No, Sasuke said, interrupting the words of the younger members of the group. Or are the members of the group who weren't used to Naruto's very demanding tone and how he acted acted so OP around everybody else. He acted as if he was a god. And that's how the other four were. Sasuke. I, Sasuke Uchiha, know from experience that no one within the Shinigami subdivision can take down a Shinigami. They're immortal, all four of them. And no matter what you do against them, they come back and they come back. They're almost like Edo Tensei. Naruto said. Sasuke said, huh, powerful people. Whoa, are you serious? Yes, I fought the leader once. In fact, I fought the Sage of Sorrow. That's what he calls himself. We don't even know his real name. I only know the name of the first of the Shinigami, Naruto Uzumaki, and the leader of the Shinigami. I branch from the subdivision. You branch out into the subdivisions. Slaves. What? That's basically how it is. You have hires above you, and you have people who completely outrank you in power. No matter how much power you hope to gain, that that overwhelming hole within power, it's still present. You struggle. You try and breathe, but that gap, it quickly cuts you off no matter what you do. That is the gap. That is the curse of the Shinigami, Sasuke said, while looking up in space. While others thought he was a bit weird, but they thought he was the elder of the group. Huh, you should have seen it. Once Naruto was the one who was bringing in people to join the group. He clubbed me in the forehead. While right now, he can cluck me in the forehead, and I do in the forehead, and you lose. He's just like that. He's just that powerful. Alright, I shall fight him. One eagerly vulgar member said. Then Naruto heard the wind as words rung through his ears, and what they were speaking about. It gave him a smirk, but then this one a tick grew within his head. Did he not learn anything from the speech that Sasuke just gave him? I accept your challenge, Naruto said. Then went outside of the confinements of the organization building. Huh. Bet you're not as strong as Sasuke says you are. After all, it's been years since he joined. Naruto then laughed, and it's been a even longer time since I've. After all, it's been a longer time, which means I have gotten a far more training in. No, it's your types. They always think that everyone else is so weak that they don't even train. I'll show you my power! You can't just assume, Naruto said, as then he flew in, activating his Mangekyo. Naruto then thought, how could a half-blooded Uchiha have the Mangekyo in so quickly? Then Raikori, as we now know him by, slams his leg into Naruto with then a mere beat. Since Naruto had far more power than instantly Biju, the hit then connected. Naruto stood there without even having any damage. So it is, I affirm, excuse me. Then Naruto said, I can confirm that it is okay for me to start my assault. As then he said, enemies, he said, you don't ask, you fight. Naruto then said, alright, as he disappeared, then kicked his leg. Then he kicked him with a little amount of force. He then spat out blood while flying away hard. He then crashed into a tree while his body, the force, still pushed him further. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. As he finally reached his 18th tree that finally stopped him. The debris from the trees had cut up his skin. He then, with blood leaking out his body, he stood up shakily. He was an S rank ninja for he wasn't an S rank ninja for no reason. He then looked forward to think, how? How? How could there be so much power? Naruto just appeared in front of him with his Rinnegan not activated at all. In fact, there wasn't even a Sharingan activated. No dojutsu was activated for the battle against him. Naruto then slammed his hand, then slammed his finger into um Risco's side, shooting a hole directly through his side and pushing even further through the tree. Because of the fact that Naruto couldn't tell the difference between when the time that the mm-mm, that the his finger took to disconnect from his side into the tree. It was such a sharp time period that it seemed like he was still going through his body, only to realize through this hard atmosphere, he then yanked his hand out. Ryosuke then coughed up blood in Naruto's face. How was I just taken down by two single strikes? As he then looked down, falling into a coma induced state. What? Sasuke then thought mm-mm, if Risco fared that good against Naruto, why couldn't he? That's unfortunately the end of this episode. Yep, yep, yay.